Hello, everyone. So glad to see you here. I see people are gathering in this moment of cocktail hour already. Welcome. My name is Maarit Mäevereller. I will be moderating today's panel. I'm the CEO and founder of Votemo, and I would say that film festival audiences is my passion, because I think I work with over 40 festivals on this subject. But I'm so happy to introduce you all today's panelists, who are experts in this subject as well. So let me start. Jennifer Fries. Woo, applause. Chief Business and Marketing Officer of Toronto International Film Festival. Thank you for joining us.
So thrilled to be here. Thank you.
Next, we have Mark, who is representing Film Festival Alliance. He's the founder of California Film Institute and Mill Valley Film Festival. Hi, Mark.
Thank you.
And here we go with Triin from Black Nights Film Festival and the director of
First feature competition.
First feature competition.
For example.
Yes, and Discovery Campus. So a lot of things. So we will be talking today about future of audiences, young audiences, marketing and sponsorship. And we had this idea. Let me see if I can get this amazing thing working. Well, maybe the guys can help me a little bit. So we made you a QR code. That's there on the below as well, but maybe we can show a bigger one. So for the QR code, during the panel, you can scan this and send us your thoughts and ideas, and we will discuss the subjects and questions you send us. So it would be amazing if you would join the conversation. We also made a small URL. It's can.votemo.eu if your camera is broken for some reason. But yeah, please join the conversation and send us your thoughts and questions, and we are happy to discuss. I see people are still scanning. Amazing. So let me start with the hottest topic, young audiences. And we have seen different surveys that the behavior of future audiences is changing, how they want to visit the film festivals, what they want to watch online, what kind of experience they want during the festival. So I would start by asking, what is the current situation for you? Are you changing any strategies for the festival organizational part? Maybe, Jen, you can start.
Sure, and I think it's really funny because we keep on hearing these stories of how young people are not going to the cinemas anymore. And we've actually found in Toronto that it's not the young people who aren't coming back or actually going for the first time, it's actually the older generations. So our fastest growing audience segment is the 18 to 25-year-old segment. And we really have thought about what that segment specifically needs, what they want to watch. There also is a big sort of misunderstanding out there that group only wants to watch maybe fluffier kind of Marvel, Disney type content, but actually on the contrary, we're seeing that group is wanting to watch art house films, more accessible art house films like A24 content. So that is where we're really directing a lot of our programming, and we're also thinking about their accessibility needs, their economic needs. Of course, everyone's feeling the pinch right now, especially young people. So thinking about how we can bring them in for special experiences that won't break the bank.
Amazing. And let's continue here, Mark.
It's interesting when the Art House Convergence was running. I was part of the original leadership board. I had talked to people, and everybody would say to me, "We wish you had, they had our affluent older audience," and I'd say, "I wish we had our younger audience." So we take the position that if you show it, they will come. And there are things that are being done in Toronto and New York where they're giving free memberships to college students. We have some small colleges, community colleges, and one small university. But what we've always tried to do with Mill Valley Film Festival or any of our theaters, in fact, we're opening a new theater on tomorrow, is to make it more of a destination. We do a lot of special events, and intrinsically festivals are special events. So we're really encouraged about what we're seeing. Even though we're not in a metropolitan area, it's a very beautiful area, so we're promoting the area as well. The mountain biking was born in Marin County, and new hotels are popping up. And I have read and had discussions with the Film Festival Alliance, which is doing a great job. Every 2 weeks, they have 40 or 50 people on a call. You've been on the call. And just throwing out ideas and developing them into best practices about getting younger audiences there. And the older audiences too, because as was talked about, it's really hard to get people off the couch. But when we do show a special event, and unrecognizable, my general manager is recognizable, and people come up to us and go, "I haven't been back to a theater since 2019. I don't know why I waited. This is the best experience of our life." And it's not just like it was Barbie with Ryan Gosling and Greta there, which we do, but it could have been Io Capitano with Matteo Garrone, and they're coming out for it.
Thank you. And how about Beth?
So I think what makes us special is that we also have actually a children and youth film festival. So we kind of like design already the children and youth to see films. We work with also with teachers. We have a special teachers program that I think it started out with 10 and now we have over 100 teachers all over Estonia. So for them to incorporate the film subjects into their studies. We also do film school for I would say high school and middle school children, for them to understand what is actually film. They get to do a little bit of workshops. They get to write scripts. There's even like a little like €500 award to kind of like get into the filmmaking and seeing that there are so much more films than just the blockbusters and so many different subjects. And I think what happens is that in the festival itself, we go more into different subjects because it's true, the 18 to 25, they really want to know what's happening. We have the environmental program, we have the sports program, and all of our programs are very designed for that like specific area, so you can understand, like if you're looking for a new director, if you're looking for a very artistic different type of film, we have the Rebels with Cause, and then of course we have the best of the festival because we're the last festival of the year, so you can actually see all the films that have been talked about, that have been playing in the big festivals. So we kind of come together with really attacking the audience from everywhere and each corner.
Can I add something to that? Because you brought up such an important point, because we're talking about short term here, giving memberships to college students, but in the long term, it's already been proven that if you can get young kids to go to a museum, to go to a play, or go into an art house theater or a festival, they are a huge percentage more likely to do it when they get older. So when you talk about the long term, because we know we're in this because of our mission and how important it is, and I'm sure we all thought about one time that we could change the world with one film. We know that's not going to happen, but maybe one mind at a time, whether it's a younger mind or an older mind. But you can't complete your mission without sustainability. You have to do both at the same time. And unfortunately, we're in a time now where you got to do more with less money.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think I would like to ask you more suggestions what other film festivals in the room could implement. But before asking you, I will open some ideas. So our team member interviewed young people from 9 countries, trying to understand what are the blockers, why people don't go to film festivals. And first one was lack of information. And they said that it's difficult for them to select movies, so the whole process of understanding what to watch. And they have social anxiety, meaning that they don't want to go alone. So, but the good thing that they brought out, and I think that festivals are doing really good work in this, is that they want lively festival experience, not just a screening. So I think all of you are already doing that. It's really great if somebody would suggest them the movies. So can I ask you, could you give some more real-life examples and suggestions what other festivals could do right now to get young people going? Let's start from you.
What we do is we have a tag system, so that helps a little bit. That when you, because one of the main feedbacks that we've had from audiences that you got so many films, so little time. We have 2.5 weeks, so I think it's enough time for people to go through the program. But we have the tag system on the website. So basically, if you're looking for love, you don't want to go to see something dark, you can go relationships, love, and it will bring out from the program, and not only just from the main festival, it also brings out from the Children and Youth Film Festival. So you see all the films from the festival that you want to see with that tag.
Yeah.
I can jump in. I think that we really need to always think about customer drivers or audience drivers. And when we think about that particular audience segment, they have some of the worst mental health problems of any generation, some of the worst feelings of isolation. Many of them have grown into their teenage years or their adulthood through the pandemic. And so it's very important that we think about how we can establish a sense of community for them, a natural kind of built-in social network and social experience that is easy to access, easy to navigate. And so we at TIFF launched last year an under 25 membership, a free under 25 membership. And we actually almost immediately had over 8,000 people under the age of 25 sign up. So that just shows that people are looking for that sense of community. And by doing it in such a low barrier way, to do it for free and inviting them in, inviting them to have that experience and starting to have them generate loyalty to the experience that we can create, we know they will become lifelong customers of ours, lifelong audiences of ours. And frankly, the cost offset will be there, even immediately with the experience that we're creating on site with, additional social engagements they can pay for, even just concessions that they can pay for. But then when they've hit 25, they want more. They can't get enough. And so they join our adult membership and start to invest back.
Yeah.
Something basic, which applies to any age people, but it was one of the topics we talked about including, is year-round. And if you, in the United States, we call them memberships, and it's not just about bringing in the money for a membership, which is, if you only have a festival, of course you want those events throughout the year, but it's that engagement, whether they are young people or older people, to constantly have something exciting for these different segments. It could even be a not-for-profit, and you could work with them and do a special event that's based on their mission, but they sell the tickets because they have the audience, and we do all the other work. And you do that like Nonprofit Monday, every Monday or something, with partnering with, if you don't have your own theater, with your neighborhood theater. And it just expands the horizon to not just young people, but also all ages.
That's a super interesting point, and I will jump in to add something there. A lot of young people think that cinemas and theaters aren't for them. They haven't gone regularly. They haven't grown up with that. In many cases, film festivals in particular, they think it's an elitist thing. They think it's hard to access. They think there are no tickets. Only rich people can go, all of those things, right? And so it is so important that you think about other things that they care about to help hook them in. So for us, we think about other major world issues that they care about, other organizations that they care about, forging those partnerships, brands that they care about, forging those partnerships, so they can really see themselves and their values in what we do. And so that's also a really big part of our programming mix now, and certainly our total experience mix is thinking about what more outside of film is going to draw them in.
Yeah, I really like the community and the year-round activities that you mentioned, and I was just thinking about it that I hear the word community a lot lately, and I think for different people it means different things, and for me, I have made. For me, the definition is that community generates a group of people that can benefit from each other. So it exists even without you. For instance, I don't know, I generate a community here, but I go away and you can still all talk to each other. So I think that if a festival can generate something like that, where this group of people feel also that maybe they can reach out to other film fans and so on. But to start with all of this, I think we talk a lot with the festivals, I personally, that where do you start? And maybe the ideal community somewhere in the future that will generate itself. But I would always start from gathering the people under somewhere where I can see them as a fan group, or collect their data and email addresses and do this year-round communication where, like all of you say, they can also see what else is going around festival and so on. And you already mentioned the communities, but I maybe wanted to ask a little bit more detailed feedback, that if you have for years generated this audience base, then from a practical, tactical viewpoint, what would be the suggestions how to communicate with them through the whole year? Jen?
I'll jump in. I like this question so much because I think everyone tries to do it on their own. That's not the best way to do it. It's going to take really long. It's going to be really hard. It's hard to create content also online that will go viral and actually be able to generate that kind of attention. So this is where partnerships are so essential. And I have one of my favorite partnerships people in the world in the audience here. So I'm really excited that we've got some partnerships people here as well. But really thinking about partnerships, thinking about the importance of people who have already generated community. How can you piggyback on their success? How can you find people who have the same target audience segments that you have, and then really forge that work with them, and frankly, get their lists. It's really about getting their people, their community through your doors, and then ideally you're finding a couple of different groups like that so that you can really accelerate your list building as quickly as possible.
Well, that's absolutely true, and then the beauty of our work is that every imaginable topic in the world is covered by some film or not, and it's primarily in the States dealing with other non-for-profits and doing partnerships with them. And we have a year-round, not just for the festival, but for our theaters, a community outreach department, small department, but they're out there all the time talking to these different groups.
Well, for us, it's a little bit different. It's all the same, but also what we do is that actually we build the audience with doing sub-festivals all year long, meaning that now there are brands themselves, but we also organize, like in April, we organized a horror and fantasy film festival in one city in Estonia. Then we also do a Love Film Festival in August in again another part of Estonia, and then we do all year long documentary screenings. So we kind of try to be always in the picture by gaining all the time new audience, new niche audience also, but we're always branding it under the festival account, so that's how we keep it constantly alive, and finding also new partners.
Mm-hmm. And I would just quickly add to that, you know, when you're thinking about growing your audience, it is so important that you think about who that audience is that you're looking to attract, especially if we're looking at younger audiences. They can see through BS. That's bullshit translation for everyone here. They can see through it really, really quickly. They're really, you know, hyper aware. They're conscious. They're smarter consumers than you know, a lot of us were in previous generations. And so I think it's important also that you think about who those partners are and that they serve as an authentic voice for you. You bring them in, they're also part of the programming experience to really ensure that when you actually get these communities in the door, they're going to be satisfied with that experience and that final product.
Thank you. And I just looked if we have some comments, and Armin shared a comment that he really likes what Max Oppius in Germany is doing. They invite school classes to morning screenings of selected short films and do open discussions with the filmmakers. And I remember now that also from the interviews, little bit stardust and events where you actually see the filmmakers and young people can discuss the future of why they made this movie and so on is something that they brought out. And then maybe not the exact subject, but Carlo is asking us, does Europe need a new film festival? If so, what experience should it offer? So I think, I don't know. There are, like, I think there is room. It depends what country, but it's a really hard question for me to answer. If one of you wants to answer the European Film Festival.
Maybe like good comedy film festival. Like everyone is very serious always with film. I mean, when you think about a film festival, the first thing is art house. This is going to be very thankful, but like, why not do a comedy film festival? And you heard it here first.
Okay, she's doing a really cool dark comedy festival next. We know that. I actually think it's really interesting to look at other forms of media. So outside of traditional long form media or even traditional short films, what other cool new media formats are out there? And certainly there's always room for small size film festivals around that. So I mean, we're hearing about all this 90-second content that's happening now. We're seeing a lot of that in the Asian markets. Why don't we go there? Let's talk about gaming on film. How do we look at the gaming industry also as another form of moving image media and how that interacts with a film audience? And that's also a really great opportunity if you're thinking about expanding and growing into a youth audience. They're interested in gaming. They're really interested in that content as well. So that could be a really cool partnership for a lot of you to think about to drive that community.
Yeah, and we have, sorry, Mark.
No, I'm fascinated by it because the truth really is you have to do all these things. You can't do one of them.
Yes, fair.
Yeah.
Literally, our educational program, we have kids who curate, we bring filmmakers into schools, and constantly, all ages, and you want to deal with diversity. That in itself is an area you have to concentrate on, but it's also going to bring younger people and older people. And if you don't have a year-round program, and obviously, as you heard, you don't necessarily have to have your own theater, but by doing these events and partnering with theaters and partnering with other not-for-profit or any kind of organization, you're not going to succeed as well as you could.
Yeah. And Juliet is asking, is there any tools to keep easily connected with our public all year around when your festival are organized by volunteers only on a low budget? This is $1 million question.
I mean, I think it depends on sort of what you're looking for in terms of year-round engagement. Absolutely, it's absolutely critical that you engage with your audience year-round, because you're going to lose their attention for all 365 days of the year if you're only activating in 10 days of the year. But I would also argue, I think we sometimes overdo it on our attempts to engage people year-round. It can be light touch points. It can be, really premeditated. We do things sometimes even just on a monthly basis with certain audience segments, and that seems to be sufficient. Again, this is where partnerships come in. I know I'm kind of banging the partnerships drum today, but it's really where it comes in, because you can give your audience the opportunity to see things that you know they will love and want to engage with, and it can be co-presented by you without a lot of lift on your end. And that's something that I know we've done a lot, where we work with other festivals in our region and do co-presentations or offer our audiences discounted tickets or special access through partnerships that we forge with those festivals. So they're getting the benefit of beautiful film programming, but without all the work on our end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important. Our director of programming, Zoe Elton, developed a program called Mind the Gap on women's issues, primarily the lack of women directors. And we've been doing it for many years with the goal of being 50-50. And all those things are going to contribute to your success and your sustainability. And I know sponsorship is very important to festivals here as well. And you may not obviously have the reach of a festival like Toronto or Cannes, but you notice even here at Cannes, they have in-kind sponsors. Look at all these cars. Look at all the things that they get for free. And a tendency is when you grow, you say, well, where's the cash? But in-kind sponsors can give you that marketing boost, just like a community partner, and cover expenses. And, you change when you get more mature, but not necessarily always for the better.
Yes, and maybe I would just comment from the time I was on the sponsor side myself that we really liked the partnerships that were for big amount of B2C audiences. And we had the strategy that from the cultural space, we then want that our clients get at least 20% of discount if they go through us. So we had a lot of customers, meaning that we could send them the communication of the cultural event, different kinds of emails, text messages, and so on. So I think that any cultural event that started, even music festivals and theaters and so on, for them it was such a big jump, and also it helps you a lot. And this kind of partner can help you year-round.
Mm-hmm. And I'll add to that also. I mean, I think we all know creating really exciting marketing content is very expensive. And so I think people are very concerned about how they're showing up on TikTok and which influencers are they bringing in. And, I really think that's also where partners are really essential. And thinking about how you can do cost offsetting for your marketing in a really meaningful way, and also figuring out if you're looking at driving a youth audience in particular or younger audience in particular, where are they? Because I see the mistake of a lot of festivals, a lot of organizations, period, and they're going to the same places that they went 10 years ago, and that's just frankly not where younger audiences are.
There is a little bit of hope about younger audiences. You might have seen something in the trades recently, and that they're coming out for repertoire. Like a lot of the great films in the past, whether they're music related, Stop Making Sense, or others, and they're literally coming to the theater. They want to see it in a big screen. How does that relate to your festival? Well, we all like retrospectives. Everybody likes celebrities. I'm sure you have, there's national, international, local celebrities. You could do all sorts of things to get people in. But the fact that they are interested in these films, and a lot of exhibitors, in fact, are trying to relate that repertoire, success with repertoire, to new films. So they'll play the repertoire, and then they'll have a newer film, intentionally, that has some reference to the subject matter or style or director. Yeah, and it's working, right? And you're talking about at the Lightbox or during the Toronto?
We do that at the Lightbox year-round, but also certainly during the festival we have a Cinematech program, and that is the #1 driver of our youth audiences. It's actually our cinema tech program. And what we really try to do is contextualize those historic films, and I say historic and some of them are like from 5 years ago, but we contextualize older films with present day issues and also issues that are really relevant to those audiences, and then drive discussion around those issues following the film. And so it's a really immersive experience that frankly you can't get on the couch at home, and that is why they're willing to put on some pants and leave the house and come see us.
That's a real problem.
Putting on pants? No.
Putting on your pants and getting off the couch, yeah. Getting people to do that. I'm not always on the couch, personally.
Yeah. Do you want to add something?
No, I think everything was said. Yeah, I was just nodding and being like, yes.
Yeah, but I'm a little bit thinking more about the question that was sent to us, that if you are with a low budget, what is the one way to catch up with your audience? And I think what we heard here is that you have to do it all, unfortunately. You can't just do one thing. And also, if it would be so easy that to catch young people from one place, then everybody would do it, but you need some kind of strategy. But I think that overall, maybe, because we talked about communities and so on, maybe just one word would be like direct marketing channels. So direct marketing channels, this is where I think it's if you can do it, if you have the context of your audience, it's always like the lowest cost. And then, of course, on top of that, you build all the social media and all the strategy. But if someone really is looking for that one tip, then I would add that.
Yeah, and I'll throw one more thing in too. You know, I think that well, actually, no, it's not an 18 to 25-year-old thing. I think everyone likes to feel a little bit like they know what's up, and they're that friend who knows what's cool and what's up. And so I think that also incentivizing referrals is a really big one. And so especially once you start to collect that community, incentivizing them to go tell a friend or go tell 2 friends or 3 friends. I think we've all been on the online shopping, and then it says, oh, we'll give you 10% off if you give us 3 emails, right? That idea. And so how can you incentivize referrals for people within your community to, again, be ambassadors for you, for like-minded audience?
Great tip. I'm using it for my own marketing. Thank you. Yes, and I think that we can go into one of the most important and interesting subjects now. So I was so glad that Festivals Hub did this little survey among festivals and asked what kind of subjects are important to festival organizers. And it wasn't a surprise that sponsorship and partnership, how it has changed, how to find sponsors and how to onboard them was one of the most important questions that all of us have. So the economical, political situation is complex, and also the sponsors are asking more. They want their targets to be fulfilled, and they want more, and at the same time maybe to invest a little bit less money. So I'm gonna ask you about the strategies, how you see this, is it even a problem for your festival, and what would be like the hot tips there? Do you want to start?
I'll start because I know that you, Jen, have a lot to talk, but I think...
Don't get me started, yeah.
Exactly. So what I would say is actually take the money and hire a person for partnerships. Don't do it. If you're a festival director, don't do it on your own. You won't have the time to do the technical issues, put the program together, the budget, and then try to find a partnership, because partnership takes time. I think there are 2 words to say. It has to make sense for both people, for both parts, and also do your homework. Do your homework of the partner and do your homework of your own festival, how you can actually combine. And that's something you cannot do on your own if you're doing everything. So take the money and hire that person And for that person, it's the only job to create that partnership, to create those communication and all of that. But yeah, that would be my main thing to say.
And I think you're talking from experience as well as I have too. And we have our development department is our biggest department, but every festival is different, and there are different sizes, locations, your emphasis, and what you can exploit in the best possible definition of the word to get sponsors, and there's less money around, and I would say again, in kind. Don't forget the importance, if you don't have a national presence, local sponsors as well. And something that's very important to us in the United States, which I don't know how successful you could be in Europe, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. 90% or more of donations of any kind in the United States are from individuals. It far surpasses any sponsorship. And of course, we see a huge amount here and at larger festivals as well. But individuals, we get very large gifts. We have thousands of members, and you want to have as many revenue streams as you can in contributed revenue. In-kind, sponsorship, individual gifts, media sponsors, all these things. And it's more important, again, to do all these things, get all those kinds of contributed support, try to increase your earned support, and try to spend less. And that's how you'll survive the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm. There are different cultures of philanthropy all around the world. And so depending on where you're from, there may be tax incentives also for philanthropic donations. In other places, there are fewer incentives or less of a culture of philanthropy. The biggest hurdle that you'll probably face in terms of looking for philanthropic donation, aside from your own culture of philanthropy, is really articulating why a film festival should be treated charitably. Like what about a film festival is actually something that's worth donating money to? And of course, we can use all of the conversation around the criticality of art and culture and the impact of film and the fact that film is probably the most democratic and accessible form of art. It really does have an incredible ability to change perspectives and share perspectives and drive community and drive discourse, which of course is so critically needed right now in our very fractured world. So I'll leave you with that as a value proposition for philanthropy. But I mean, how much time do we have about sponsorship?
Yeah, we have.
Listen, I've actually this year will be overseeing over 200 million in sponsorship for film festivals. It's changing all the time. And I think, as you say, there's a lot of scared money out there. The economy is weird everywhere in the world. People are expecting more and more return on investment for their money. They're wanting a more turnkey sponsorship experience. They're wanting to have to spend less on top of their base sponsorship to activate the sponsorship effectively. So all of those are really massive hurdles that I think everyone has to overcome. But the key there is finding alignment around your values and really being clear that your festival or what your offering is will give them a more direct access to their target audience. It's giving them their target audience on a silver platter and in a really immersive space where they can tell the story of their values in alignment with your own social values. And that's something they can't do on their own. So when you think about sponsorship, you have to think about what can you give them that they can't do on their own? And I think that's a really a special place for festivals that you can drive.
As Roger Ebert said, film is an empathy machine, so you can always revert to that.
Of course. And maybe, Jennifer, maybe you can open it up, because I remember from my sponsorship times that first of all, bigger companies have a sponsorship committee that overlooks, and the people from this company come and propose. For instance, I go and propose I want to sponsor Black Knights It costs, I don't know, 1 million. I go and propose it to my team.
I wish.
Yeah, and then what I've tried to open a little bit to some of the festivals who don't have a sponsorship person working is that then there is a list of KPIs or what you want to achieve after this sponsorship. Is it only branding? Is it also you want to do sales? Who do you want to reach? In what time? So they are not looking into the social share numbers or so on, but actually it has like revenue and investment metrics. So maybe you can little bit just share what are those rows. So when you propose a sponsorships, it's so much easier if you already know what the sponsor is looking at.
Well, unfortunately, my answer is every possible sponsor is different. So you will have to do a lot of research before you get out there. And the key research you want to look for is how are they showing up in the market? So when they are doing marketing, what are they saying about themselves? What are they? How are they actually delivering marketing message? What's their go-to-market strategy? If they're doing a lot around social media, you're going to want to add some of that in. You're going to want to think about their potential business-to-business opportunities as well. So it can be different every single time. The one thing I will say is saying, "We'll put your logo on everything." It's not going to do it anymore. You need to be far more integrated across everything that you do. It needs to feel natural that they're there, especially for youth audiences. Going back to those youth audiences, they sniff out an inauthentic sponsor faster than anyone. So you need to make sure that total alignment is there, from the get-go. But you have to go in well-researched. You have to go in with a really clear strategy, a really clear partnership narrative. Why you, why them, and why right now? Because otherwise, they're getting pitched. Just imagine, you're going after probably the same people that I'm going after, or that the Champions League is going after, or that, the Olympics are going after. So why you? You need to think about why you and what you can offer that's different and special against people who have a ton of impressions and a ton of ability to activate.
I wouldn't want to go after the same people that Jennifer is going after, just saying like, look who is sponsoring Toronto and stay away. No,
But,
it's a joke.
yeah.
Thanks.
Not every festival is the size of Toronto, and you may not be able to get Chase that department gives the same money to Toronto or the Olympics, but maybe you could get your local branch.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, it's some people don't want to sponsor Toronto because we are too big, and they want a very specific market segment. They want a very specific type of audience. They want a specific type of customer, or they want a specific type of narrative. They have certain values or pillars for corporate social responsibility that you are uniquely able to deliver. So bigger isn't always better, but smart and targeted will always be better.
Good advice.
Thank you. Triin, do you want to add something?
No, because as I said in the beginning, it's do your homework and it has to make sense. The two keywords in a good partnership.
Yes.
I think we must be doing something right. When I mean we, the festivals all over the world. When I started Mill Valley, I could think of 6 festivals in the United States. I think there probably were another 6, but now there's thousands just in the United States.
Yeah.
And they're struggling, as everybody's struggling, most everybody, over the last 5 years. But we're here. We're doing our work. We love our work. Don't burn yourself out, and just get out there and talk to everybody you can authentically, as you said.
Yeah, it's a great conclusion, and you are correct that there are so many film festivals that the good thing is that you don't need to explain to a sponsor what film festival is, because there are a lot.
Well, and on that note, that's the other thing, again, back to all the partnerships thing. I think looking around your region, or even looking around your country and seeing what other film festivals exist, what other arts organizations exist, again, that might have similar audiences to you, and thinking about unique ways of sharing that audience. So some things that I know I've been exploring with previous clients of mine, as well as even with TIFF, what can an arts passport look like? You know, how can you encourage year-round arts engagement from core communities? And I think especially as we're thinking about developing younger audiences and developing Gen Z, Gen Alpha as arts lovers in the future, how do we make them feel connected to the arts more so than just us on a 365-day basis? Because that's going to benefit all of us. It's going to raise all boats.
Yeah, thank you. And while talking about the sponsorship, we mentioned brand and values. And I have time to ask this question as well, that we all know that festivals have these strong brands. They are for the people of this city, for people of this country, and I'm always so interested of the brand values that they carry, because it's different. And like you say, we have so many festivals. But talking about festival brand, I know, Jennifer, we talked a little bit, you and me, about this, that at the same time when the festival brand has to carry this history, how to stay relevant to the young people.
You know, we need to honor our history, but we can't let our history hold us back. Ever. That's so important. And so I'm really excited. So I think some of you knew me from my first stint at TIFF, and I was gone for a couple of years, and I'm back now leading the business and marketing units. And one of the reasons why I'm back is that I'm super excited. It's our 50th anniversary next year. What an amazing opportunity to start looking forward to the next 50 years and what will be relevant in the next 50 years, and how will our brand be representative of what's relevant in the future over the next 50 years. And so, you know, we're going to be undergoing some huge exercises around our branding, around our you know, core brand values, even our identity, what that looks like moving forward. And I think we're really excited about it because we're not afraid of shaking things up. Because we want to be forward thinkers. We want to be people who are seen as trailblazers, and we can't let anything hold us back on that front. We have to be a little bold.
I think I can agree with that, and I think with our festival, it's especially interesting because we're an A-class festival, but we are the youngest festival. So we have also that exciting moment of like, how do we start to brand ourselves? There are some pillar stones that we know. We have the logo, we have the fundamentals, but it's like at the same time, what is going to be finally our taste? Today we know very well like what is kind of like which direction, what are the directors with Berlin, what are the directors with Toronto, you know, who've grown out of that festival, and now we're in this place where it's exciting to see how our brand is going to develop within the years, because we're just that young.
Mm-hmm. And you really want to think about, what do you want your brand to say? You know, and I think that's when we think about branding more broadly outside of just film festivals, people have real brand affinity, right? And so you want to grow brand affinity. You want your brand almost to feel like something like a community. Your brand is really the wrapping around your community. So are people going to be proud to engage with that brand? In our case, are they going to wear it? You know, how are they going to represent it year-round? Would they buy merch with it? And be proud ambassadors of that brand. So that's all part of what we're thinking about for the next 50.
Absolutely, and it is difficult to be bold and to keep what's valued as well, and you'll have to wrestle with that, as we all do. But I think there is a future for us, and we're excited about it. In my case, it may be a different generation, sooner versus later, but not immediately. And that's exciting, because that's what you want. You want an organization that has been embraced by your community to grow and expand that community. And if you can do that locally, and you have the privilege of expanding it, you really succeeded.
And just absolutely. And final note on brand is that's again where partnerships come in really valuable. If there are brands that you know really have captured the hearts and minds of audiences that you are looking to capture, it's a great opportunity for a halo effect. So we often talk about brand halo and partnerships and the importance of bringing together two brands and the two halves becoming one greater whole. But really when you are thinking about establishing your brand to specific communities, again, that's where partnerships can come in to accelerate that process.
Thank you so much. And I have a final question because we are online as well and live. We will end at the time, and I'm so happy that everybody joined us here in the room and is watching us from the recording. So let's finalize this with a positive note, because I've heard so much positive inside this future of audiences, a lot of opportunities. And one thing also that came from the survey was that different festivals said that there are different stages, smaller, medium, bigger festivals, and so it's a little bit different how we generate the future of audiences. But if you could now finalize with one positive thought, saying what would be like the next thing to do with your audience? It's a surprise question. One positive thing, what to do with your audience, and share it. And I can start until until you gather your thoughts. So I would say one positive thought I would do with the audience is I would think of like one surprise direct communication message from the festival. And for instance, in my marketing life, I remember we launched birthday cards. So we automated the system. We knew that my birthday is 7th of July. And I wake up and this telco company was the first one saying, "Happy birthday, Marit." It was like, oh my God, they really care about me. So it's a small thing. So for me, I'm just trying to make you think of like this one positive direct communication thing you can do, and I promise the audience will love it.
Wait. I'm gonna give the floor to you. I'm gonna still think.
I'm going to say, from a development perspective, there are a few people who want to be anonymous or don't want to be thanked, but the rule of thumb is if you get a donation of any kind from a sponsor or an individual, the longer you wait to thank them, the longer that email or letters needs to be. So just remember that. You can unintentionally lose a sponsor, lose a donor. You need to let people know they're appreciated in the way that works for them. Some people are very private, but I would just keep that in the back of the mind. There are companies and people who are incredibly generous relatively to what we do, and sometimes huge numbers, 7-figure numbers, and you just need to be grateful and to thank them continually, quickly.
And I'm just going to add a little bit to that, and then it looks like you're ready to go too. But I will say further to what both of you actually said. You had said earlier about the importance of hiring a sponsorship person. Absolutely true, and obviously you're talking about thanking and stewarding your relationships effectively. The one thing I always talk to people about is that old money is easier and cheaper to maintain than new money, than going to find new money. It's also more efficient money because it takes usually, on average, anywhere between 5 and 10 times the amount of time to go get new money as it is just to maintain the old money. So the importance of maintaining those relationships, I cannot stress enough. But it looks like you were ready to go with your point.
No, I did find an angle, but it's a bit different because actually we talked about partnerships, but another really long and big part that creates the community are all the volunteers. And if you're saying about taking care of the partnerships, which is completely true, this is the basis, is also to take care of the volunteers because they are the face of your festival. They will go back to their regular jobs that may be at the end of the day the partnership that you want to go. And if you're taking care and they see that your festival is running smoothly, the operations are running smoothly, they will spread the word. And these are it's I think even better than social media, because they have the impact, and they're inside the whole thing. So maybe take a look next time your volunteers and take care of them and thank them always.
Absolutely. And I guess my final thought, I'm really not actually that worried about the future of cinema and the future of film festivals and the future of, audiences. We're seeing so many interesting things happening out there, so many interesting trends. And by the way, if you want to learn more about those trends, there is another panel tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. up in Viewpoint. So highly recommended. It's about data coming out of film festivals and data-driven decision-making with our friends at Eventive. But I will say I'm really optimistic seeing these trends. And I think the key is that we need to be ready to adapt. Film festivals should not exist now for the same reasons as they existed 15 years ago. We have a different raison d'être. And so really understanding what your unique raison d'être is, why you really should exist, why you need to exist, the kind of impact you need to make for specific audience segments, that will really help drive your strategy and keep you really focused on the most important pieces of your business.
Yeah, and try to look at things sometimes not as it's overwhelming when you're looking at the big picture, but piecemeal. For instance, when we were buying this second theater, and my board was worried about the future. Are people still going to go to movies? And donors who are going, are you going to be streaming? And go, no, we're not going to be streaming in the movie theater. But I've said to them, if theatrical exhibition and distribution goes away, we will still find great films. And every film that we show in every one of our 5 screens is going to be a special event. A movie with a guest on an important subject and entertaining. And you don't have to get 3 million people or 30,000 people. You just need to fill that theater, and we could do that. Do I think it's going to come down to that? No. But it made sense to me that we can find ways to survive as exhibitors in theatrical landscape as well as festivals, because that's what festivals do.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, audience, for coming. Catch us here when we leave, and see you all soon. Thank you, panelists.